Alright, it's the next day now. Managed to book pretty good tickets. The flight leaves at I think 7:30 p.m. this evening either way. Which is good. So I'm absolutely exhausted from the entire trip because, you know, high intensity style and the ordeal I went through yesterday. So I'm physically and mentally exhausted at this point, and will be happy to return home now. And I have to get back to work in 3 days, so gotta try to establish some kind of a sleep schedule now. But yeah, anyway, I don't have much time anymore, which is good because I don't really have energy to do anything anymore. Just gonna take it easy today, eat some food. Actually, the Indians I met yesterday, they recommended that I will go to there's some kind of a cable car in this city, and they recommended that I would go there. So maybe I will check it out. Just do something easy, you know. Curious what kidnapping seems like. Here's the place. You can see the entire city from here. That's pretty cool. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. I only really went here for the cable car, the views, which are great. But yeah, the mountains are right by the sea. Very cool. Over there you can see the Almaty television tower park. Public. I think it might be the highest building. There you go. That's creative.
Третий важный пункт, о чем мы
This is the Independence Monument of Kazakhstan. Here's a fun fact about Kazakhstan independence. Kazakhstan was actually the last Soviet republic to leave the Union of Soviet Union. Even after Russia left Soviet Union, which means that for 4 days Kazakhstan was the entire Soviet Union. It's pretty interesting. I think around 94% of the people who attended in the referendum voted in favor of status quo, to my understanding. But at the time, Kazakhstan was a lot more like Russified. Now they're obviously Kazakhstan has their own very deep and rich history and culture, and I don't think anyone regrets the independence now. But yeah, Kazakhstan formally declared itself as an independent state on December of 1991. Meanwhile, the first Soviet republics to do so were the Baltic states, which had always been the most opposed to the Soviet rule. And I think they declared independence in the year of 1990. But yeah, here's more context. So what I mentioned was when Kazakhstan declared itself as an independent nation, but around 1 year before that, in 25th of October 1990, Kazakhstan declared itself as a sovereign state. There is a small difference between these two terms. Okay, we gotta head to the airport now. I had some issues with the check-in. I had to go from another part of the terminal to another desk to another one. Then I had more issues with the security. Also the passport control for some reason took a lot of time, but made it now. I made it to my gate now. It's always good. So I'm gonna arrive at Abu Dhabi airport at around midnight, and I'm gonna have 5.5 hours on transfer, so there's no way something can go wrong there. This turned out to be a lie, a complete lie. And then from there I have to catch a plane to Istanbul, and then from there to Helsinki. But the good news is that the last two flights are both under the same airlines, so when I go to check in Abu Dhabi, I should be able to get both of the boarding passes for both of the remaining two flights, except what I most likely will have to do in Abu Dhabi is enter the visa-free zone, the international zone, and then re-enter it again. So I'm gonna have to get stamped out and stamped in. And I was already asked whether I need a visa, which as a Finnish citizen I don't. But yeah, it will be like as if I've actually left the airport and then gone back in. Though it's only 5 hours, so obviously I'm not gonna have any time to look around Abu Dhabi. We made it to Abu Dhabi now. We have about 5 hours until my next flight, but first order of business is to go to immigration and if possible do the check-in now, get both of my boarding passes, and go from there. Now that I have to go to immigration anyway, maybe I'll have time to check out outside the airport. I still got over an hour, maybe an hour and a half before check-in opens, but at least now I know where I need to go. So maybe I'll get outside the airport then. It's crazy. This heat is crazy. And it's like humid too. Now we're in some Alzena neighborhood. So I'm definitely gonna count this region and country now that I'm here. I got a cab here. This is a nearby neighborhood. Took all like 10 minutes. And I'm gonna have to walk back for an hour since I have no internet. But yeah, this looks what you would expect from UAE. Very bougie. And, very hot, sure. Yeah, a lot of places still seem to be open over here. That's Etihad Arena over there, I believe. But yeah, it looks pretty interesting to me. And I mean, if I had to go to immigration anyway, I might as well leave the airport then, since I already got stamped in. Yeah, this level of humidity I've never experienced anywhere else. Crazy. Or so I thought. As I mentioned, I had no internet, so only once I arrived back at the airport did I get a notification that my next flight to Istanbul will be delayed by 3 fucking hours. And I thought I learned my lesson about booking flights with longer layover times, especially when it's an international flight, which I did do, but I still got fucked. I have no idea where that 3-hour delay came from, but yeah, that's what happened.
Dubai will be straight ahead from here.
So I ended up having to spend around 7 hours in the airport. But I met with a nice Scouser lady, and she even got me into the airport lounge, so I was able to get a long-awaited shower. But yeah, when checking in Abu Dhabi, I was simply told that I would have to go to the airline desk in Istanbul. I wasn't told anything else, so given that there wasn't much time anymore, I was a little anxious about what would happen. And what ended up transpiring was indeed
My least favorite airport experience ever.
First of all, once we landed in Istanbul airport, we received conflicting information on where we needed to go, so just getting to this airline sales desk was a task in itself. But anyway, once I got there, it was absolutely full of pissed off people, as you might expect, as this obviously affected a lot of people besides myself. And it had even more people than what you're seeing here, as many of the people gave up in the process, as usually there wasn't anyone at the desk, so I had to wait closer to 2 hours to have my turn. So at some point I was the person who had been there for the longest, so I decided to take a little bit of charge, and I was basically telling everyone who would be going after myself and who would be the next person going after that person, because there was no line. You had to protect your position, and it was just a full-on chaos. And after my matter was resolved, I was basically moved to the same flight the next day. Plus I was given the transportation to a hotel itself, and dinner. So I was happy with the solution. As soon as I was done with this matter, people started yelling like crazy, like it was like a fight who will be going after myself. So that was crazy. At last, I've made it home. So I guess I might as well show you what I packed.
So this is the back